Saria here, Chief Green Alchemist at Going to Natural. Do you know it takes less than 30 seconds for your skin products to enter your bloodstream? Yeah, so knowing what's in them, super important. We know you want what's best for you and your family. And here at Going to Natural, so do we. We care about the environment, we care about the animals, and most importantly, we care about you. We offer free support for your healthy journey and love providing affordable, all-natural products that are responsibly sourced, cruelty-free, luxurious, and always made with love. We're not just a shop, we're a community, and we'd love to have you. Browse our collection of plant-based skincare products and natural tips and tricks at shop.goingtonatural.com. That's shop.going2natural.com.
A conscious brand for a conscious community.
Use code LOVEEARTH for 15% off your first order.
Welcome to Cherie's World. Today on Cherie's World, we will be talking to a man who calls himself Dr. Sebi Jr. That's the only name I know. That's the only name I'll be giving you. With the unfortunate death of Nipsey Hussle, a lot of us have been introduced to Dr. Sebi that didn't know exactly who Dr. Sebi was before. And now that Dr. Sebi's gone, his voice will live on through people like Dr. Sebi Jr. He is going to come on today and just tell us some misconceptions about what we should and should not be eating and educate us a little bit on what Dr. Sebi's diets are really about. So stay tuned to Cherie's World, and we are going to be a little educated on what we should and should not be eating.
Would you like to advertise on Cherie's World and have your product placed on Cherie's social media for the world to see? Email us now at cherriesworldpodcast@gmail.com for low introductory rates. Cherie's World Podcast. Get heard.
Welcome to Cherie's World.
Dr. Sebi Jr. is on the line, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Jr.
Yeah. How you doing, sir? Yeah. How y'all doing? Hey, beautiful people. All right.
That is my co-host, Mr. Courtney. He's also the producer of the show.
How you doing, sir? Okay. How you doing, Mr. Courtney? I'm okay. I'm actually stuffing my face in Whole Foods right now. Hey, that's a good place to do it. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on what y'all were talking about with the whole salve and all that, because I guess I'm running late, so, and I wanted to know more. If y'all had anything y'all wanted to talk about, just, shoot.
Oh, okay. So I was telling the ladies that I haven't made a video yet because I need to. I am in business with a company called Going to Natural, and I'm sunburned. So she was telling me, put the salve on my skin and it would heal my sunburn. Dr. Sebi Jr., do you have any advice for sunburns? It's summertime.
I'm curious about what's in the salve, but on just a direct note, I would say the pure cocoa butter, pure shea butter. A lot of people use shea butter and it's yellow. And it took me a long time to learn. I kept asking different Africans, like, why are there a white shea butter and a yellow one? And no one knew. And I later found out that they add some type of herb or chemical to it. But you want the pure shea butter, pure cocoa butter, nopales cactus. I think nopales is better than aloe. And a lot of people are familiar with aloe, but nopales is very gentle. Like it feels kind of like you're rubbing like a cucumber on your skin, and it reminds me of baby food. So it's something that it's very gentle, and you can use with children.
So is it something that you can ingest as well? Is that something we can eat, or is it just something that's topical?
Definitely. I would use it topically and internally. I use it. That's how I use it. I drink it. I tell people it's really good for weight loss also, but when the way that we approach things, we try to nourish the body. So definitely inside and outside, use no polish. And
Now let's
also prickly pear, but the prickly pear, when it turns red, it can turn your skin red. So that's the only thing about prickly pear or no polish. But there's a green part of no polish before it gets ripe. It's green, so you can use the green part if you don't mind. But if you use the red part, your skin will turn a little bit red. You'll be walking around looking like Hellboy or something, or Vision. Yeah.
so crazy. Okay, so let's talk about this whole. How did you get the name Dr. Sebi Jr.? Are you actually Dr. Sebi's son?
Okay, I'm not related to Dr. Sebi, but what happens is I grew up in a healthy family, farmers markets and all that kind of stuff, herbal stores. And I was sick. I was a food tester and secret shopper. And after having eczema for years, I just tried to go natural. So people always knew I was picky. They knew me for just knowing about healthy food. So if you can imagine somebody in the hood, vegetarian or eating healthy stuff, I always stood out. But pretty much what happens once I started learning enough and I began to understand Dr. Sebi's work and I began to promote him, people thought I was Dr. Sebi's child. And they thought that maybe I was lying because I thought that they were FBI agents. So they started treating me as if I was, Dr. Sebi's family. And I kept telling them, no, I'm not. I'm not. And they're like, yeah, your secret's safe with me. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But I actually talked to his family. Usha, I told her to get back into the herbs and to connect with Dr. Sebi. I went to Usha Village about a year ago. After he passed, I was on my way, but I was waiting for my passport. But I also helped make Dr. Sebi's website better. So what happens is once he made Dr. Sebi sell food, he made new products, but he still had a food list that he had used when he was presenting watered down information. And I started to say, hey, you're missing things. Like I'm watching a video from the 90s and you're missing this, you're missing that. Like fonio. Fonio, Fonio, is a natural rice from Africa. And they just made the machines to process it on a large scale. So it hasn't flooded the market and most people don't know about it. And he was talking about it and I just couldn't figure out how to spell it. So I started calling the Dr. Sebi office every day. And eventually they allowed me to help them update the food list. And I got it first. And they were like, hey, do you have any other suggestions and stuff? And either way, before all of that, I was actually taking herbs. I don't know if you ever heard of Twerk Team, but there's some girls that dance in different music videos and things. And one of my sisters, she had cancer. So we were taking Dr. Sebi herbs. And I didn't have cancer, but I took the herbs anyway. Later, I learned that, you take the herbs no matter what. But I didn't know that then. I thought I was taking cancer herbs. So I just, it's a really bold and courageous, loving thing to do. You know what I mean?
You were rejuvenating your cells without even knowing what you were doing. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You have eczema, and eczema is what drove you to Dr. Sebi and changing your eating. I was taught that eczema is really just a food allergy.
Say that again.
Well, eczema.
I was taught that eczema is just a food allergy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny because Sebi talks about everything just being mucus. And that's another reason why people call me Sebi Jr. because I've consumed all of his information and they say I started quoting him a lot. But I say that a lot of the science that we have today are theories. And, it's like when you say something like that, you say, oh, I heard that they say that it's an allergy. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge that this is still a theory. So we get into a problem where we don't realize that. But he talked about everything just being mucus. Yeah, eczema it felt like torture to me. It's like you're trapped in your own body. And I didn't want to take the medicine because it's a steroid-based medicine. I'm not sure if they still use that medicine today, but I was afraid to put steroids on my body as a child just
They
because
do.
that word. And I just, I prayed about it and all those things at the time. And the spirit or whatnot said, hey, go back to the Garden of Eden. As a food tester, you know that I didn't make this food. I didn't make, God didn't create these things. So go as far back to nature as possible. And as you go back, you're going to be rejuvenated. You're going to be healed. You're going to look too good. You're going to look too sexy. Everybody's going to be trying to figure out what you got going on. Did you go to the gym? So I did. I went vegan, cold turkey, pretty much. And I've been vegan. I haven't ate meat in 13 years. And every time I made a step, I just saw better and better results. The last 4 to 5 years of my life recently, I began to go deeper into Dr. Sebi's information. Beforehand, I was taking his herbs and doing what everybody else does, where they mix what they feel and what they know. They take from different places and things. I was doing that too. And after a while, it just clicked. And I said, oh, crap, I didn't understand him. Nobody understands him because he watered down the information with the food list. So that's a little bit about that. I'm kind of going around, but yeah.
One of the big things
Yeah.
that I heard is when you take milk and processed foods and things like milk chocolate and stuff out of your diet, you will see that you don't have as many eczema flare-ups, which makes total sense because mucus comes from dairy. So,
well, mucus, the body makes mucus and it uses it naturally, but something is, and I wanted Sebi, that's why, like I said, I produced the Dr. Sebi broccoli video, and I wrote a bunch of questions for Sebi that I knew people needed to understand to make their own experiments and their, come to their own beliefs. So when you talk about mucus, it's like, I'm not sure exactly how to explain it, but it's like this unnatural food is causing problems, and then that's leading to all these different places. I also wanted to say that when I was dealing with the eczema, I also started using only things that I felt my skin could eat. Like if I couldn't put it in my mouth, I wouldn't put it on my skin. And I also had spots on my skin, and I had dandruff really bad too back then. And I didn't want to miss that because I think that could really help a lot of people, because I remember having really, really, really bad dandruff. And now, like, if I get a headache right now, like if I go somewhere and there's too much pollution and I get a headache, I freak out because I don't know what a headache feels like anymore. And I want to give people that type of power where it's like, you don't even know what it feels like to be sick anymore, but you said something about the mucus and
a dairy.
I forgot the last thing. Dairy. Oh, yeah. When you give up dairy, they say you lose automatically like 15 pounds. But like I said, there was things I wanted to talk to Sebi about. They have been keeping me from Sebi for so long because I'm an OG influencer, food tester. And I had meetings with Sebi, and people would just leave me stranded and disappear doing weird stuff. A lot of weird stuff has happened in this journey. But when you give up dairy, they say you lose 15 pounds, but also it's just like, we're not cows. I do know when I first gave up dairy, I didn't really plan to do it. I just kind of accidentally did it. And that also started my vegan journey with the search, the meditation dealing with the eczema was like, I stopped buying milk in college, just shopping on a budget. I just eliminated cereal and milk. And
so crazy
when I went back to drink it, I got sick.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
we're not. Yeah. No, you're good.
No, I just said that on our last show.
You're right. We're not a cow. We're not cows, but it's so crazy because the way they have us thinking is, if you want a strong heart, go eat a bull's heart. If you want muscles, go eat the thigh muscles. And it's so funny because to like a simple, I don't want to say simple, derogatory, but to a basic mindset that makes sense. It's like, oh, but it's like, that's not how the body works. It's like you put a certain kind of fuel in a certain kind of car. There's race cars, you put race fuel in it. You got hydrogen cars, you got electric cars, now you got regular cars, you know, you got go-karts. They're all running off of different fuels. So the body can make proteins. Even women make milk, but you don't have to drink milk to make milk. You get what I'm saying? But they got us thinking that, and it's so crazy. But like I said, when I gave up that dairy and I went back to eat it, I got sick. I went back to eat it again, and every time I got sick, somebody came and politely asked me to please not drink the milk again. They were like, look, you are very sick. You should not do that again. Maybe you should just not do it. And, you know, one person was my girlfriend at the time, and then another person was a guy who just, you know, observed me being sick. He was like, man, whatever that is, you don't need to do it no more. You probably got some kind of problem. And I'm like, bro, I can't be lactose intolerant. I drank milk my whole life, big bowls of milk, you know, like Friday with the big bowl. Now, I'm not talking about a cereal bowl. I'm talking about like a cake mixing bowl, you know. Yeah. So, like I said, giving up that milk, giving up the cheese and the ranch dressing and the Cheetos and all that stuff, that man, it worked miracles for me. Like I had a little gut forming. I had acid reflux, and all that just went away. And I started modeling, and I don't work out. I refuse to work out. So I'm modeling and I don't work out, and I'm walking around looking good with extra curly hair. I'm a natural hair model. You get what I'm saying? And I used to have dandruff. Like, how am I a natural hair model? And I used to have dandruff really bad. I'm like a walking miracle. So that's why people call me Dr. Sebi Jr. They're like, oh, he really embodies it. And Dr. Sebi snuck and ate his fish, but I don't sneak and eat meat at all. So that's a lot of reasons why people call me Dr. Sebi Jr.
And what do you think about almond?
I'll leave Whole Foods. Almonds?
Almond milk. And cashew milk.
He was talking about almond milk and cashew milk. I think he said the bark of a cashew tree could kill you. And he talked about something about the U.S. does something with almond milk that's very sketchy. But when I went to his village, in his home, he does have a almond tree. And the almond looks like a peach. And I think they're in the same genus or something. And you actually eat the skin on the outside of it, like how a peach has a little seed in the middle. That's the almond that we're used to looking at. But the actual almond is like a peach, like coffee is a cherry. But the almond milk, just on a side note, there was a big thing that went out where, you know, as a food tester, I try to tell my people, I love y'all. Love everybody, matter of fact, everybody. Unless they're bad people, I love everybody. And these companies are very, very tricky. I know they had a big thing that came out where the almond milk actually had cow milk in the almond milk. Oh. And they had to have like a big, like, I don't know if they had a recall on it, but I don't think people even know about this. And I'm like, what? I was telling people not to drink the almond milk just because I thought it was a ripoff. And then Sebi dropped some information, and then the company said, oh, well, our almond milk has cow milk in it. So all you vegans weren't really vegan, you know. And I've been really kind of feeling that energy for a long time, because when you just imagine it like this, when you have a big factory, you got all these products you make, and then you're going to have like some leftover stuff, whether it's the skin, the fat, the bones, whatever it is, and they're going to turn it into paint or dog food or something. And I've always just felt that these companies are going to put it back in the foods. They're not happy with just making $1 billion off of us. They're going to stretch every penny. So I don't know. Google, look it up, man. The almond milk wasn't vegan.
When you say you're a food tester, are you allowed to say who you work for?
Well, I'm not employed by them anymore, so I say it all the time. Procter & Gamble, one of the biggest companies in the world. Procter & Gamble is an umbrella corporation which owns and makes everything, and they work with every company. They make a lot of stuff, a lot of marketing material. So when you get a CD, they make the paper that's in the CD. They make the CD. They make the plastic that the CD comes in. you know. So I actually worked for music and food, but yeah, Procter and Gamble, man. The smaller corporation that I worked for was called Tremor, and I remember certain companies. I remember working for Sprite separately, and Sprite, I believe, I say that Sprite and Pepsi are the reason why Michael Jackson turned albino, and or what is it, vitiligo. Because I want to cure an albino person.
Can you
I
explain
think that'll
that?
be like my claim to fame.
Can you explain?
Well, in the hood, we have this thing we called acid, where people say that you need to drink more water if you start getting these spots on your skin. I don't know what the medical term is actually, but it's just pretty much lighter spots on your skin that eventually start to spread, and they look like patches, and it looks like a mild version of vitiligo. And people have it. I actually saw a worker in Dr. Sebi's Lucia Village with it, and he had it really bad on his back. And I was telling him, hey, I healed that. You know, I used to put hemp oil on my skin and cocoa butter, and I just think about the skin eating and breathing, and then I go out in the sun. But like what I was saying is in the hood, they say that if you drink too much soda, it gives you these spots on your skin. That's just what everybody says in the hood. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I know I stopped drinking sodas. I think it has something to do with the sugar cane, because cane is a product of the rum industry, which is a part of the slave industry. And all of the GMO plants have a big foundation in the slave industry. So that's what really the problem with your cigarettes is, that there's sugar in there or something like that. You know, your sodas, your sweets, all this stuff. Like you could have a cake and make it out of, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? You can have a cake. Yeah, I see in one of my classmates. You can have a cake and make it out of natural flowers like your kamut, and you can use agave, and you could be fine. You won't have any diabetes or any of that. But as soon as you add that cane in it, that sugar cane, you're gonna start having problems. And I think I remember once studying something about sugar cane affecting the immune system, and I just meditated on that idea of what is the immune system? They got us separating the body, like whatever protects you. Does that have something to do with you growing new skin or growing new hair or growing new brain cells? So I haven't studied it all, but I think that sugarcane affects that. I know garlic does also. So I'm not sure, but like we say that certain unnatural foods cause your body to rob other parts of the body. And I'm not sure if that's where that skin, like those skin spots come from. But I know that if you eat natural electric foods, you won't have to rob the body of different, from different parts to process it. And you can actually nourish the body. So, yeah. I don't know. Dr. Sebi talked about chemical affinity a lot. So we could talk about that too. But when you talk, also, I tell everybody, that's another reason why they call me Dr. Sebi Jr. It's because I used to just talk to people randomly wherever I was at. And I would say, hey, let's call Dr. Sebi's office. They'll talk to you for free for 15 minutes. So I would be on the line on three-way while they're calling the office. And sometimes I wouldn't even say anything, I'll just be there to support the person, to show them that I'm here with you, or, it's not a scam. Nobody's going to steal your information or anything like that, But yeah, so I would say too, whoever, got anything, call, get a 15-minute consultation if they're still doing that. And because there's a lot more herbs that, we could talk about when it comes to skin or different problems.
This is Cherie's World.
Hey, if you want to continue to support Cherie's World podcast, shop Urban Intellectuals. Shop Urban Intellectuals under Cherie J75. It helps keeps this podcast up for the magic word free. So if you're a supporter of Cherie Johnson and the Cherrie World podcast, shop Urban Intellectuals. Shop urbanintellectuals.com/AFF/CherieJ75. That's urbanintellectuals.com/AFF/CherieJ75.
people need some help or want some knowledge, how can they get in touch with you?
I'm Dr. Sebi Jr. at Gmail. And then we also have Raw Fruit Goddess. That's run by a female, and she actually knows more than me. So like she knows how to pronounce the words a lot better because a lot of the herbs are in other languages. And we had to call Dr. Sebi's office and verify all the spelling on these. So I'm a little bit forgetful, and I'm more careless. Like I'll just drink every herb every whenever I feel like it until I just feel good. I don't really, target things as much as, traditional people would do.
I have another question.
I can, but I don't.
You go by Dr. Sebi Jr., and I don't know your real name, and you don't need to tell us. Is one of the reasons why you use his name and you don't go by your real name is because of your past work with Procter & Gamble and because of the fact that so many herbalists or holistic doctors are coming up missing or dead? Are you worried about that?
You know what's crazy? I never liked my government name because I just didn't like it for, how people be. They got different reasons. But people were calling me Dr. Sebi Jr. In a unloving manner. I'm bad with English sometimes, but they were saying this spitefully toward me. Like they were like, "Fuck Dr. Sebi, you on that dumb shit. You need to eat some meat, or you need to da da da." They were actually mocking me.
They were being sarcastic about it. So basically, you did, and it's a different context. But I love this because you used inspiration and amuse. You took like what Superhead did when they tried to coin her Superhead, and you turned it into something positive for you.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? Like I said, a beautiful sister is the reason why, because at first they were just saying like, "Hey, you on Dr. Sebi's dick, fuck Dr. Sebi." And I'm like, no, I'm a scientist. I'm a food tester. I'm trying to tell y'all that he's on to something, and I figured it out and I understand it now. And I'm doing experiments and I'm getting results. And I've been vegan. I've been, a meat eater, so I can tell what's going on in my body. And but one sister actually, once I started giving, like I would go to certain herb stores, or here in Atlanta, we have Seven Nanda, and I worked at Tassili's. And like I said, I would be in the store and I wouldn't be able to shop sometime because they would get me and say, "Hey, can you come over here and teach these people about herbs and, help them?" So people would ask me what herb should they take for this or that. And I would tell them, "Hey, that's no good. This one is what you really need. Call Dr. Sebi's office. They'll help you." So that's when people started saying, "Oh crap, you really are like a little Dr. Sebi. Like you really know these herbs and you know how to do this. Like you're not just a fan or something." And I'm like, "No, I'm really a scientist and I'm really serious about this stuff." So that's how that name came. For years, I was a little bit worried that about Procter and Gamble, but I also thought that maybe because they make money off of all of this, they sell some of the things that Dr. Sebi talks about in every store. So I thought that they would allow me to be a celebrity and antagonist, like make me the bad guy. And I could just be this rock star bad guy. And I could have a place, like they could just say, "Oh, he's with the rock star rebel people." And, like they let Ozzy Osbourne and Snoop Dogg and everybody else come on TV and smoke weed with Martha Stewart and cook, I thought that I would be able to fit right in.
Can you tell the people again how they can find you if they have questions and they need you?
Yeah. Dr. Sebi Jr. at Gmail and Raw Fruit Goddess. Everybody donate, and also check the food list. The website is the best food list in the world for free. It's my gift to everybody. I love y'all and thank y'all for your time. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. I hope you come back.
Thank you.
Welcome to Cherie's World.